things never to eat if you have high cholesterol. Number one is shrimp. Shrimp is very high in cholesterol, and I don't know why people don't talk about it more.
The consumption of dietary cholesterol has little to no impact on our blood cholesterol. And the reason for this is because the more cholesterol that we consume in food, the less that our liver will produce. You see, we consume about 200 milligrams of cholesterol a day, and our liver produces about 1 gram, which is 1,000 milligrams. So let's say hypothetically we increase our dietary consumption up to 500 milligrams. Our liver will reduce its production by about 300 milligrams, down to 700, and will end up with the same amount of cholesterol at the end of the day. And there is not a correlation between dietary cholesterol and cholesterol levels, because of the compensatory mechanism by the liver to reduce cholesterol synthesis in the presence of dietary cholesterol. So while it is true that shrimp contains a high amount of cholesterol, how does this impact our blood level of cholesterol, and more importantly, our risk for cardiovascular disease? So diets higher in squid and shrimp decrease the ratio of LDL to HDL, which is a very strong indicator of a reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. And in addition to the liver producing less cholesterol, we actually have mechanisms to absorb less cholesterol in the presence of high dietary cholesterol. Additionally, if we look at populations who had a high consumption of shrimp, such as the Eskimos, they had an exceedingly low cardiac mortality. And this high shrimp consumption actually had a favorable impact on their blood lipids. They did actually have higher LDL cholesterol, but they also had higher HDL, meaning the ratio of LDL to HDL was lower. And I think the most important thing is this highlight at the bottom. There was approximately a 60% relative risk reduction in death from myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack, in high consumers of seafood. The benefits of shrimp is that it's easily accessible and it's not as expensive as things like salmon. It's also extremely high in protein, very low in total calories, and extremely dense in micronutrients for the amount of calories that it contains. And the reason this is important is because probably the most important factor for reducing one's overall blood cholesterol is simply getting to a healthy body weight. And the dietary cholesterol in shrimp is not going to rapidly increase your blood cholesterol levels, but it may be extremely beneficial in the weight loss process and may actually have beneficial effects on one's cardiovascular disease risk. And come back for part 2 when we talk about the other 2 foods that we shouldn't eat if we have high cholesterol.